we have seen whatever we covered some until now, like that equipment group creation and all those stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So now actually what I'm doing is like we'll actually create all the objects from scratch for the one of the direct shipment. All the
Okay.
details will create from scratch.
Okay.
Uh, so from today's session, Shiva, good morning.
Good morning, Kishore.
Yeah, sure. Sure, you are like right now, whatever we covered, you are clear, right? So, so first we'll create corporation and then locations. Uh,
Hmm. Item.
so yeah, and then yeah, we'll see like items and all next. So first we'll create the corporation and then location. So I'll tell you how will be the navigation and all. So for creating the corporation, the navigation is shipment management, power data, location, and you have corporations here.
Okay.
So I'm just creating one new corporation. So I'm creating the demo.corp. So just for everyone's listening. So I'm not giving all the details because we don't have one corporation. We'll just have the name and define. So I'm not giving all the involved party contacts and all those stuff. So I'm just creating corporation. So now the corporation created. Now for this corporation we are creating the locations. So we'll create two locations. So for me, I'm planning to create from Bangalore to Chennai scenario. So one of the
Okay.
direct
From
scenario from
Bangalore.
Bangalore to Chennai.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me something.
No, no. I was just saying Bangalore to Chennai, two locations, right?
Yeah, two locations. I'm just scenario is from Bangalore to Chennai direct shipment.
Hmm.
So I think we have the location called Bangalore we created. Let me check. I think the other day we created me and was I will just edit this only because that day we just created without any
Hmm.
details.
Okay, Bangalore is there.
Yeah, we created actually. So for that.
Hmm.
So what happened, man? You see, whenever like if you are accessing the system, no, if you have any issue, just let Rama know so that I'll contact them for that clearing the issue. So
Okay, okay.
because even now it seems to be slow, so I'm just texting them so that
Okay.
they'll look after it.
Okay, okay.
It will be little bit slow because this is a remote desktop, right? Like so,
Hmm.
not like normal access, but it will be little slow, but not that slow.
Okay. Okay,
So
okay.
it will. So it should not be this much slow actually. So Yeah. So we have the so now actually we just created the basic things. Now I will update the city and all those stuff. So location name I'm creating. So demo corporation we have created, right? So demo underscore corp. We are creating demo corp and city I'm giving
Hmm.
uh, Bangalore. So I'm not giving anything else. So latitude, longitude. If you want to give, you can Google it and give. But right now I'm not giving it.
But if we provide province code and postal code, then that will come automatically, right? Or this instance doesn't support that. I mean, this
No,
version.
actually for India locations we will not get it generally
Oh,
because so for India locations actually in OTM whatever you have it for US configuration majorly.
okay, okay.
So if you want you can try also it will not come. Basically
Mm-hmm.
province code India will follow the postal code. We will not have the province codes basically.
Yeah,
So
we have this postal codes.
yeah. So now I just updated this location.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll create another location called Chennai the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have given the details. I'm just updating the role information. So without the
Mm-hmm.
role information, we cannot create the location because we have to define the role. Location role is important. So basically, what we are doing generally, what we will do. So contact information we mostly not given in the location. We'll give the location information in the contact. So we'll create contacts also now, and we'll show you like how to where we'll assign the location details there. So I mean, we are actually covered the theoretical part of the location contacts and what is there, what is not there. So even to Shiva and you, Samrin, both we saw. So I'm just very. So we are just seeing the scenario because itinerary and all we haven't seen. I mean, but these
Mm-hmm.
locations and all we have seen. So since like we wanted to see end to end, so I'm just going by step
Mm-hmm.
to step creating all the data so that it will be easy
Okay.
for seeing this one scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll create for these locations we'll create the contacts. So contacts can be created through business process automation, communication management, contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm creating one contact for Bangalore and one contact for Chennai.
Hmm.
Yeah. First, I'm creating it for Bangalore. So Bangalore underscore contact I'm creating. See, all this information we'll use if at all, if we need to have like to send anything
Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first name, last name, we don't have any details of the customer, right? So we'll just create have demo line demo, and the email ID also I'm just giving as the dummy email ID. So you can define like whatever email ID you want. So it depends on the base requirement. So on the location we have created Bangalore, right? So I'm assigning this to Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
So rest all the information if you want you can give or don't need. So the notification part actually we have to define if you at all if you want to send the any email or something you have to define what is that rank basically. So we are defining the rank. I mean what in what way we have to communicate for this contact and what is the rank.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a first or second? So, so now I have created for the Bangalore contact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll create another contact.
Mm-hmm.
So Chennai contact. So Chennai contact. I mean this will be demo because I just contact name. I can give anything here. So, email ID will be like the same. I'm just giving the demo email ID. Location will be Chennai.
Mm-hmm.
So contact notification details I'm giving. So now we have created the corporation locations and contacts. Now
Mm-hmm.
we'll create the items.
Okay.
So item can be created under the material management. So we already created one, but I'm creating the new one. So that it will be. I'm just creating some Nokia phone, some Nokia I'll say. So I'm just creating an item. Yeah. So we have created, now the package item is already automatically created. So now what I'm doing is I'm updating this package item with the weight and volume.
Okay.
Uh, oh, let's- so I'm giving like packaging weight. I'm just giving as a kg, 10 kg, and 10 cubic feet inches. I'm giving because it's a phone box, right? So I'm just
Mhm.
having it as inches. So now I have updated the packaged item details as well. Oh, so now I have updated the item. We have created the item packaged item. Now we'll configure the equipment group. So equipment group can be created from the shipment management. So shipment management, equipment management, and we are creating the equipment group. So basically now I'm planning to create the 20 feet container. Uh,
Mhm.
so with the weight of like 1000 kg and volume of 1000 cubic meter. So we'll create one. Shiva, are you clear, right? You are following me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So equipment group ID I'm creating. So I'm just going with the 1000 cubic meter and weight of 1000 kgs and length of 20 feet and width is what is 20 feet container 28 and height will be we can adjust, so I'm just going with the 8.6 feet. So rest all details are optional. So even these are optional, but for our effectiveness and the having the proper planning, we'll give the length, width, weight, and volume of details actually in the equipment. So
Mhm.
now I'm creating the equipment group. So now I'm creating the equipment group profile. So basically, so that we can have it in the itinerary we can use. So once we create this equipment, we'll create the service provider. Then we just suppose that service provider will create the rates. So and then itinerary and then shipment. So now we'll create everything whatever we need like itinerary rates and all. So on planning part, we'll see tomorrow.
Okay.
So tomorrow, like once we are done with today, tomorrow we'll be creating order and planning the shipment, one to one direct shipment.
Okay.
And no slowness. I just informed them. They said they'll look into it and update me.
Okay.
So I'm creating the same like demo 20 feet container group.
Hmm.
So I'm assigning this equipment group. We can assign the multiple equipment groups also, but as of now, um,
Mm-hmm.
have we created one, right? So I'm assigning that to this. So I'm clicking on finished. So now we'll create service provider. Now we have equipment ready, locations, contacts ready, items ready. So now we have to
Hmm.
we need to create the service provider. So service provider we are creating one service provider. So I'm just creating like DHL. So location service provider name I'm not giving anything. So I'm corporation since we have already. I'm just giving the Temor Corp. And for this particular mode, I am wanted to create the TL shipment first. So I'm just
Okay.
creating this service provider restricting to TL mode. So city will be like Bangalore because the source location will take it as Bangalore. And the
Mm-hmm.
country code will be IND. Uh, so communication method, I think we can give. So email is already there. I'm just giving xyz.com. So, no, right, as I told you, like if you create service provider, location will be automatically created for this service provider. We are not using
Okay.
it because we are using the other locations, but just checking. Yeah. Now we have created the rate service, I mean demo service provider. Now we'll see what
Mm-hmm.
is rate service ID. So rate service ID. I think we have. Did we covered something for you? Did we covered uh, this theoretical part for you? Whatever we have covered it now. So we actually discussed right in
Yeah.
the last classes. So now we
Yeah.
have seen the practical part of it, where to create what is the navigation and all. So now from now actually we'll see the what is rates and all. So till equipment we have seen right. So itinerary we have to create. We'll be creating little late. So in the end,
Mm.
so before creating it, so we'll see the what are the rates, different rates, and what is rates and all. So basically, so first we'll see the rate distance. So I mean rate distance can be used because we do have third-party servers to use to calculate the distance. But still, we'll see what is rate distance. So rate distance is basically to define the distance between the two locations. So we have two different options in OTM. One will be lookup and one will be estimate. So lookup will be it will be define distance in the lane definition on the distance table. Basically, what it does is the lookup table will look for the whatever we define, and it will take. So estimate is basically it estimates the distance based on the latitude and longitude defined on the location. So for which the distance is required. So based on that, actually it will pick up. So most of the times we'll use lookup because we'll define it manually. So no man, very rarely people will use estimate. So in generally, so rate distance is nothing. Basically, we do have other systems like PC mailer and all. So where you can actually get the distance, accurate distance. So for OTM, it is just kind of a plugin. So where you can actually do it. So there will be a property setup. So if you can do that setup, you can use the PC mailer to calculate the distance.
Okay.
So that is the rate distance, and lane is basically I told you right how what is a lane. So lane is basically connects between the two geographic points. So I mean generally lane is defining the whether it's source to destination. Basically in the rates, we'll generally have the lane information. So we'll define an itinerary and rates will have the lane information. So how it has to pick and how it has to defend basically whether it is a city to city or location to location or region to region. So we'll have the lane configured to use the repetitive basis. So once if you have the same region lane created, if you want to use that lane for any other rate or any other itinerary, so it not be the itinerary because the itinerary will have only one, and for the other rate you can use the same lane and define the rates for the other rates for the service provider. So that's why we'll have the lane information here. So rate service is basically it determines the service, what type of service we are providing from one point to another. So basically it will pick the based on the rate service type you choose. So rate service is basically be the how to say. So if it all depends on the service type you choose, I will see the what kind of service you have. I mean what kind of service we'll use. Even here we have lookup and all those stuff. So basically rate service is something it will have the information of what kind of services you are giving. So services means the service time and all those stuff. So you can see I'll show you the in the configuration part what it will be and what it is. So these are all the different rate service types. So we have. So basically we'll see what are those. The different rate service types are air schedule. So air schedule is basically to determine the departure and arrival dates as well as the transit times for the shipment. So air schedule is basically we'll use whenever we are it's only for the air transport mode. So basically, most of the times we'll use the lookup here because it is for the generic and we can use for the any transport mode. But for air schedule is only for the air transport, which will where we will define the uh, dates and times. I mean, what is the transit time between the departure and arrival in the dates. So that is what the air. Basically in service, if you can see in the rate service is basically meant for service time. So apart from that nothing is there. So that actually will define we'll have different rate service types we can use for the different transport modes. So here for the air we'll define the transit times for the air schedule. So day duration is basically for the parcel shipments. Basically it will be a parcel shipments. Generally in the real time parcel shipments we'll call it as, if it is weight is less than 150 lb we'll call it as partial shipments. If it is more than 150 lb and if it is a day duration we'll create it as a TL shipments. So in the real time scenario in any of the business you can see partial shipments means it is like weight will be less than 150 lb.
Okay. So rate
uh,
is 150 lb.
Yeah,
So
weight
at
will
the time,
be weight will be less than. We'll configure in such a way that so partial shipment means partial transport mode will be. So parcel is basically a transport mode we'll use. So when it is like how when the parcel transport will pick. So it is like basically if it has the below 150 lb weight. So that is basically a real-time scenario most of the business will use. So it is not defined in somewhere. So basically they'll use it. I mean, as of now, even I work whatever the parcel shipments, it is the same. So clear, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So day duration is basically you can define it basically. I mean, it's all basically the whatever option we have. It is for the to define the transit time. Okay, basically service time. So whatever option we have, because we just have to know when we have to define like air schedule or day duration or distance duration. So that's why. So that is where actually we'll have. So the day duration is basically you can have you can define the transit days instead of transit time for the lane. So if you have any TL shipment going for 2 days, you can have the day duration and have kept the transit days between here. And along with that, you can, if you have any calendar, you can assign it. But basically, we are not using calendar here. For the next scenario, we'll use calendar. So I'll show you. So basically, I'm just showing one of the scenario for direct shipments. So if with calendar, we'll see in the next scenario, multi-stop or multi-leg or any other scenario, we'll see the calendar configured. So the day duration, basically you will define the transit days in the transit service. So on the distance duration is basically it's same like an uh, it's same like a day duration, but actually they'll define it this transit days based on the distance. So distance break is something. So day one and day two you have, and day one you will say we'll drive only 300 kilometers, and day two will drive only 300 kilometers. So based on that you will define the transit days and so that you can. So that's why the distance duration is basically you will define the transit days will be associated with the distance breaks. So you got it right. So basically, if you can say in a day, you start at 9 o'clock and 12:30 will be your lunch. So in that 3.5 hour, how much distance you will travel? So in that way, you can define the transit days based on the distance breaks. So what breaks you are taking, and the evening when you are stopping, how much distance, for per day, how much distance you are traveling, so that you can actually define break the distance. So, got it
Okay.
or any confusion?
Okay.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So, external drive is basically a third party application, as I was telling you, right? It supports the external service engines like PC Mailer and all. So, when you are using the third party service, we'll use the external drive. So, the third party applications actually we cannot see here because it's all different. But Samrin, you might be knowing like how these third party applications will work. So Shiva, basically third party application is something, it's a different application out of OTM and will connect to OTM to pull the distance or service time. Uh,
Okay.
so from the other application. So whenever we are doing it, we'll actually have the external drive as an service type.
Okay.
So
Okay.
whenever we are taking distance from external system, at that time we use this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in that case, we have to, right? Like integration part comes into the picture at that time.
It's not
Or
actually a integration part. It's not
yeah.
actually integration through the middleware. So it's just a
Mm-hmm.
plugin actually. So you will have the IP address and all those stuff. So where you can,
Okay.
there is a property actually. So in the OTM property, if you can set up the external engine, so even the property will say this rate external engine some name. So basically for with
Okay.
OTM, PC mailer, Kevil and all as a kind of an
Mm-hmm.
embedded applications where it's just a kind of plugin. You don't need to install and do
Okay.
some connectivity and all those stuff. You just have to update the property so that you can start using these applications. So if you want to do any customization part and do some integration, then you will have
Mm-hmm.
to go with the integration part,
Okay.
because a few of them will use like from if you are pulling the rates from Kevil for example. So what few of them will do, they'll pull that information to EBS, and they will they'll do all the activities there and then integrate to the OTM system. They'll send that information to the OTM system. So in that time, actually, so you need integration. If it is directly connected to OTM, then you don't need to have any middleware or something. It's just a kind of a plugin.
So that is a paid one or it's free? I mean, it's one of the feature from OTM
No, no, no.
or we have.
You have to take the license. PC Mailer is not a,
Okay.
for the Oracle one. It is an external application. But for accuracy in the distance and all, PC Mailer is a very good system. So application.
Okay.
So most of them will use that.
Okay.
So PC Mailer, Kevil, SMC. SMC is for LTL rates. Kevil is to pull the TL rates and all those parcel rates. So these are all the best systems which are in the market. So most of them will use. So all are there. It's just a plugin in OTMs. It's not doesn't mean it's a part of the Oracle or OTM services.
Okay.
It's all entirely a different application which will have to take the license for.
Okay.
So it's the same like an external transit days. So external transit days is basically kind of a day duration time calculator. So it's basically, I mean, it's actually supposed to specify a calendar on the rate service. So generally you can define it in all the, but external transit days basically you will calculate it from the, it depends. So see, generally most of the times when you are planning, you will pull the service time. You will not pull the service transit days actually, service days. So most of the time we'll need the service time, not the days. So you got it. So external transit days is also a kind of an thing where you can pull the details from the other system. And basically, I'm telling you, as of now, I used like simulation, lookup, and external drive. So rest all I haven't used any time, and I think once I have used the day duration. So most of the rates will be configured if you can see with the lookup or simulation or external drive. Even something you can see in your system as well. So most of the rates will be configured. So most of the rates, most percentage of the rates, more than 90% of the rates will be configured with the external drive, lookup or simulation, if in case they are
Okay.
using any external drive. So you
Okay.
can
Okay. I
look
get
after it. Rest all you just can have the idea of what it is and when to use. So I mean, mostly you will not get chance to use it basically.
Okay. Okay.
So ground service is basically a TL or LTL shipments. TL is truckload and LTL is less than truckload. So they have their own weight constraints. If you can say large truck or like a small truck. So ground service is basically when that's what you can define the frequency and the routing for a shipment typically created repeated. So basically what will happen is you will have the kind of an milk run shipments. So milk run shipment is basically what it does is like one location to one location. So it is a defined location. Every day, uh, every day the truck will be running. So if you take the milk truck, okay. So generally, what they do, they'll have an milk processing center. So to collect the milk, they have the defined road actually. So they'll go in the same road and they'll come in the same road. So to collect the milk and deliver the milk. So basically, we'll call it as an milk run shipments for this. So ground service, you will have the option to create the ground shipments. So I'll show you ground schedule. Will basically call it as you will have it. So without that, even you can create the ground service schedule. So in that time, we'll actually use the ground service.
Okay.
See, basically, when we define the rate distance, so this is where it comes. So lookup and simulation. This is the main things we'll actually use. So lookup is yeah, basically to define is used when a service time duration is defined by a lane or rate zone. So basically, as I told you, right? So you will define the rate distance by the lane or with the different particular zone. So that time, so most of the times, if you are not using the external engine, so you will basically have to define the distance in the OTM. So which is rate distance. Okay. So when that in that way, basically when you use the lookup in as a service type, what it does, it will look for the rate distance table, and it will pick the sorry, it will look for the rate distance table, and based on that it will have the service time. We'll define the service time. So whatever here you have to define the service time in the OTM. So that is the first thing. So basically it's all, so generally whatever it says as a definition. So and generally in service provider will have their own service time and the own schedule for the any location to any location. So based on that information only we have will have to set up in the OTM. But all these things,
Mm-hmm.
and all these things just for your information and to know when what to use. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean it's a practical, right? If you are having any if you are a 3PL service provider and if you have specific routes to travel, and it depends, right, on how much distance and how much time if you have to travel based on the stops, based on the service you are giving, based on the price. So you will define your own service time, right? So in the same way.
Right. Okay.
So simulation is basically it will simulate the service time based on the postal code, latitude, longitude, and how you have defined the lane. So and based on the rate offering corresponding to the rate offering. So I mean it's all the same basically. So I don't know with like us, even if you can define whatever you do with the lookup in the based on the postal code to postal code, you can do the same in the simulation as well. So and basically what it does is the lane, instead of giving configuring the lane in the rate service, so you will configure the lane in the rate offering. So that it will actually, so basically in the rate service also you can assign the lane, but in the rate offering also you can, in rate offering you need to define the lane. So in the attribute section. So basically in that uh, sorry, so based on that actually it will define, it will pick the, it will allocate the service time. Okay.
Yeah.
And time definite service. So time definite service is basically when you are having the actual dates and actual delivery and actual pickup. So based on that, when you have that, we'll use the time definite service. Time definite service is something where you can define you are delivering the uh, uh, goods on time, and you can define this service, you can pull the service from the external rate engines as well. So it's all, I mean, as I told you, like other external systems, instead of defining it manually in the OTM, so there are many other applications where you have the standard I mean accurate distance, it will be updating day to day based on the service and this thing. And voyage schedule can be used on the ocean shipments. So voyage is basically a ocean transport mode. So it's actually it will define the transit time. So based on the ocean transport. So
Okay.
every vessel will have their own transit times and speeds. So every steamer will not go in the same speed, right? And based on the permissions and all in the sea road, so it will define the distance, and they'll have some rest time in the in intermediate ports and all. So based on that, it will define the service time. So all this whatever service you are using, so it's all depends. Like if you are using this rate service only for air, you will go for air schedule and ground. And basically the service time can be defined based on the service and you are providing. Basically you will have to define the rate service manually in the OTM. Okay. So this is a rate service. Basically they have used, and here they have used the lookup service provider. So we just created one. And basically, so they have not given anything here, but we have to define the service time by creating the lane. So now clear about rate service, right? We'll create rate service now so that you can see. So see, basically rate service can be created from the contract and rate management. So contract management and the rate service. So I'm just creating one rate service. Since I'm doing the direct shipment, I'm just going with the direct rate service as a service ID. So rate service type, I'm selecting the lookup. So as I wanted to do the lookup, and so here I'm not giving anything. So I'm just going to the details. So now I'm defining lane here. So basically now I'm defining the lane here because the lane will be from location to location because we have created like I mean location, right? Direct lane Bangalore Chennai. So I'm creating. So hierarchy will be the location to the
Location to
location.
location.
Yeah, we are creating the information from location to location. So source location will be Bangalore. So destination location will be Chennai. So I'm creating it. So service days I'm giving it as 1 day. So I'm using it a day. So I'm creating the rate service. Now the rate service is created. Now, so before creating rate offering, so we need to create the rate version. So rate version is basically will define the uh, like validity of the rate offering. Okay, so rate version is mandatory. So you can define rate version is basically uh, to define the
Rate,
validity of, sorry.
so rate is like it's a for a particular time it is valid. So that rate will be used
Yeah,
only
yeah.
for right.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
Okay.
And the rate version can be accessed. Rate version navigation will be from contract rate management, power data on the contracts. And under the contracts, you will have the rate version.
Okay.
So basically, I mean, I'll share you the other details as well. I'll have one Word document created and I'll share you this direct shipment PPT or white paper, whatever. The Word
Okay.
document I'll share the details. Whatever I created, I'll just put it without screenshots and I'll share you the details.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so the rate version we have created now. So that document will have all the navigation and all the stuff.
Okay.
So like how next is the rate offering, and rate offering is basically will be associated to rate service, and how we define the service time and all those stuff in the rate service. In the same way, in the additional services, like what kind of transport mode we are giving and all those stuff, we will be having it in the or rate offering. So rate offering basically will define what kind of what is the transport board we are providing, what is the service provider, and all will define. So basically we'll have the rate offering type. What rate offering type is kind of an transport mode, whether it is a TL or real TL and all those stuff, and they will define the service provider and will define the transport mode in it. So rate offering is, as I told you, it's the additional service. What are the additional services? Like what is the transport mode and the service provider we are giving? So all those stuff will be defined in the rate offering. So I'll create rate offering now. Shiva, are you following right? If you have any questions or any doubts in between, you can ask.
Okay.
So if is it confusing for you, you can stop me anytime. I can.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm. Kishore,
I'll actually yes.
yeah, are we having this session for 2 hours
No,
or
no, it's
for one?
actually for 1 hour. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because
So
I
I'll just
have to leave for office now.
no. I'll just create this rate offering and I'll stop this session. So we'll
Okay.
continue from tomorrow. Or else, if you want to continue from tomorrow from this rate offering, we'll continue. No problem. We'll start from rate
Let's
offering.
see if Shiva is getting, then we can. I mean, we can continue complete this. Hare.
Yeah. So rate service, we already created the direct rate service, right? We are hearing, and I'm using the TL offering type because I wanted to create the TL service mode. So now we
Mhm.
have created the service provider, right? Demo. So DHL we have created, and it should show. It is not showing. So on the transport mode will be TL I'm creating. So this is basically we are creating the buy shipment right now. So I'm creating the buy shipment.
Okay.
Rate version we need to have. So demo underscore version we are creating. And basically exchange rate we haven't created any exchange rate basically, so that's why we are giving the default ID. Basically exchange rate is where you can actually define the rates. I mean converting from one currency to other currency. So I mean actually I'll explain you all these things in the additional part. So based on right now we are
Okay.
just seeing the one basic scenario.
Mhm.
Okay. And so now I'm going to the attributes tab so that I can define the rate distance. So here. So generally if we have lookup, so lookup else estimate, I'm just using the both. So and I'm finishing, I'm not providing accessorials and all those stuff. So accessorials is basically if you are to have any additional pricing and additional cost, so we'll have the accessorials. And special service if you are following. Involved parties is something if anyone the other contracts or if any apart from the service provider we define. So if anyone else is involving in this rates and anyone else other service provider, so you can have it here. And the comment section and remarks also I told you, it's remarks is basically to identify the if you have any other remarks against this rate you can define. So I'm just creating the rate offering. So now we have created rate service and the rate offering. So rate offering is basically a contractual information relating to the service provider. I told you as well. What are we can create and all those stuff. You have it here. Shiva, if it is confusing for you, like I'll share you the like steps and the navigation. What all we created as till now. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll share you today or tomorrow. So else I'll
Okay.
share you once we create it. So you can,
Yeah.
so by that time you already have the rate, I mean location and all the other navigations, right? You'll
Yeah.
start creating, practicing on it on the
Yeah.
master data part, and the rates and all. I'll share you the details. And meanwhile,
Okay.
whatever we covered now, you just go through it. So if you see the navigation, you will have some idea. So, and this
Okay.
PPT also will not have all the information. So this PPT will have the information whatever we generally use in the real time, like
Mm-hmm.
when we create the data. So it will not
Mm-hmm.
have the details of all tabs and all the options whatever you available in the screen, because
Mm-hmm.
everything will not use uh, every time. So it all depends on the business. Okay. Okay, Samrin. So we'll continue from rate record tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you go through, if you have any doubts and all, we'll discuss it tomorrow.